So Sean Spicer has resigned. We're going to cover this here and try to figure out why this happened, get your reaction to it, and no replacement named yet. I saw some speculation on TV as to why he might have resigned, but I haven't heard anything firm yet, and I think we got to be careful here about speculating. But Sean Spicer is out as press secretary, and he hadn't been doing a lot of the briefings lately. Most of the briefings had been done by Sarah Sanders lately. So it's not, I don't think it's a total surprise in the sense of, I think if you saw that, and I had even tweeted and people had spoken about during the last month that you didn't see him a lot during the briefings. So some people had thought maybe he's not going to be there for that long. But also the way the reporting is going that I've seen initially is that he resigned. It's not one of these things where he resigned and they made him resign, but they kicked him out. It's the reporting initially is that he voluntarily resigned. Now, it's also so. This is all at this point, who knows. Also, a big theme I've seen in the mainstream media coverage so far today is that a big problem Sean Spicer had is that today it was announced, shortly before this resignation, it was announced that Anthony Scaramucci is being brought in as the White House communications director. And some of the reporting is saying that Sean Spicer was not okay with that. Now, maybe there are other things he was not okay with. So we just don't know at this point. So I'm going to try to explore different things. I'm going to look over different sources and see what they have to say. Also, we're going to get a reaction from you. I'd like to hear what you think about all this. So while we're on the air, if you'd like to write in, I would be happy to read your comments about this on the air. Write to me, Steve Lookner, at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. You can write to me here on Twitter, and I am happy to read your comment on the air. Or if you have a question about it, I'll do my best to answer it. So again, Right Side Broadcasting, breaking news coverage. Sean Spicer has resigned. And again, no replacement named yet. So I'm going to start going through different news sources, but I want to just see if anybody has thank you, Chris Douglas. I just saw that you sent me the story a while back, right around the time that I saw the story. So thank you for giving me a heads up about that. Tom Cipolla writes in, I wouldn't do that job. So that was an initial comment I see here. Again, would love to hear your comments on this as we're going through the news, as we're seeing the various coverage of this and the different theories on why why Sean Spicer resigned. Feel free to write in at Lookner, at Lookner on Twitter, and let me know what you think. So let me do what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do a quick check because I'm guessing we'll have kind of some updated reporting and statements and stuff coming out. So let me just do a real quick check here. Okay. So I'm just going to show you various reporting that I see here. So this is Jim Acosta says, source close to White House told him, apparently, the president was expecting Spicer to serve as press secretary and quasi-communications director, while Scaramucci would play a ceremonial role. So, something I've heard, I can't confirm this, is, again, Anthony Scaramucci today was announced as the White House communications director. Now, Anthony Scaramucci does not have a background in communications. He's not like an old Washington communications hand. His background is in finance and investing. He worked for Goldman Sachs for a while, and he is close to. I know he's close to Don Jr., but he's also someone who he's been on TV, throughout the past year or so during the campaign and during the administration, defending the president. And he's very, well spoken on TV, and he looks, and he's TV friendly, but he doesn't have a background in communications. And some of the reporting is saying that Sean Spicer might have been upset that this person was brought in to be the communications director, but he wouldn't really have a background in communications. And according to Jim Acosta is saying that this source tells him that the president wanted Spicer to serve as like the quasi-communications director, doing the communications director work, while Scaramucci would be playing a ceremonial role, and maybe Scaramucci would be appearing on TV a lot, and we might expect him to be appearing on TV a lot in the coming weeks, now that he's officially in the White House. So, but that's just one. This is just one report from Jim Acosta. Again, take everything with a grain of salt because it's very early, but I just wanted to show you that. So I'm going to get some more reporting on this, but I also want to go, I know a number of you have been writing in with comments, so I want to get to those as well. NY Mike 2S says, Reince Priebus and Scaramucci do not get along, well known. I'm shocked that Sean would resign over this and not Reince, best friends. Thank you, NY Mike 2S. Timothy says, I liked Sean a lot, but he was too nice a guy. Scaramucci is a tough guy, well able to defend the president. Isaac Barry writes in that Sarah Huckabee was better. Do you think she should replace Spicer? Well, so, I would think she certainly, given that she's been doing all the briefings, to me she would be a logical choice to be the new press secretary. Because if there's another if they bring in somebody else's press secretary, that's going to be somebody who we haven't seen doing briefings before, and they're presumably going to be doing the briefings. So, or a lot of the briefings. So, but if the briefings are off camera, then maybe it's not as big a deal bringing somebody that's not Sarah Sanders in as press secretary, because you're not immediately going to bring in somebody in who nobody has been seeing on camera and putting them on camera all the time, because the briefings, I think the last on-camera briefing was in late June. So maybe it changes things a bit. Maybe the fact that the briefings aren't on camera lately makes it perhaps more possible that they'll bring in somebody besides Sarah Sanders to be press secretary. Don't know. Good question, Isaac. Let's see. Christine Bestjen just made a donation and said, "Everybody, let's all pay our door cover." So thank you, Christine. We are viewer supported here, so if you enjoy our coverage, please consider donating. It's gonna cost us money to go cover President Trump's rally. We're going, actually, we're leaving on Monday, and we will be covering it on Tuesday. The rally, so we have to fly there, get a place to stay, and blah blah blah, and pay our expenses, and so, anyways. If you want to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can do what Christine did, which is just go in the YouTube chat room next to the broadcast and click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat room. By the way, hello to everybody on Facebook as well as YouTube watching today, and feel free to share this video on Facebook and like us on YouTube. That'll let other people know that we're doing this coverage. So thank you in advance. Okay, I'm going to get to more news in a second, but I see a bunch of you are writing in, so I want to get to your messages. Todd Pass writes in, Trump has not been pleased with Sean's work for some time. Andrew Sova writes in, I read a little while ago Donald Trump gave him a new job and Sarah Sanders was his replacement. I thought this was fake news. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, because Sarah Sanders has not. He's still been the press secretary, Andrew. Now maybe his responsibilities were a little different, but he was still the press secretary. So that might be what you're thinking about. Let's see. Another we got said to me. Keck sends me memes once in a while. So Keck sent a meme in, and I want to show you the meme that Keck sent in. Hold on, I'll get it up on the screen here. This is the meme that Keck sent in. Okay, thank you, Keck, for your meme. Let me get back to me. And real quick. Okay, and Chris Douglas just made a donation. Thank you, Chris, so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. And says, thanks, Steve. You're welcome. Thank you, Chris. Let's see. Timothy says, sorry, we already read that one. Getting all your comments. Boog Rose says, hi, Steve. I think most of us saw this one coming. Sean seemed to be aggravated by the pressers with unruly reporters and their arrogance. Spicer likely has a stomach ulcer well earned. Thank you, Boog. And something... This wasn't being talked about too much in the mainstream media coverage I saw, at least initially. I didn't see that much of it. But, a lot of the coverage I saw said, well, Spicer was mad because Scaramucci was being brought in, and talked about like ton of like work politics type stuff. But as Boog says, perhaps Sean Spicer was either getting a little tired of the job or was getting a little annoyed at the press briefings. And I would be careful about saying, well, Scaramucci being brought in is the reason he resigned. I mean, perhaps he was thinking about this for a while. Perhaps he had spoke to President Trump, a month ago and said, I think I'd kind of like to maybe get out in a little while, or this is getting a little bit more annoying to me. Or maybe he didn't speak to President Trump, but he was thinking about this for a while. So I think we need to be careful about specifically saying this is the reason why he resigned. Could be a combination of factors. Any of you who've left a job might have had the experience where you thought about it for a while, and there might have been various reasons. So I think it's good to keep in mind different possible reasons for the resignation. Bob See Your Uncle writes in, Scaramucci, will you do the fandango? That is Bob See Your Uncle's comment on this. Sean Humphrey writes in, Kim Guilfoyle would be a great asset to 45. I remember a while back Kim Guilfoyle from Fox was being talked about a little bit as, well, if Spicer leaves, could they bring in Kim Guilfoyle? I think that's even before Sarah Sanders came in. But then at some point there was a thing where she had told the reporters she was under consideration, and then the White House seemed to respond a bit coolly to her saying that. Now, that's not to say they couldn't hire her, so, right now no one is hired for that position. But thanks, Sean, for writing in and giving your opinion. Let's see. Chaz Pacan writes in, saw this coming. So dumb that mainstream media is acting shocked. Scaramucci will be a pit bull defender for our president, MAGA. Yeah, and Andrew Sova sent me that story from the Gateway Pundit. It was a few weeks ago where the Gateway Pundit had ran a story that said Sean Spicer was going to be replaced by Sarah Sanders. Now, there have been a number of stories over the last few months that said Sean Spicer would leave or I think they said, I don't know if it was like fired or resign or whatever, but I wouldn't necessarily say that today what happened is a vindication of those stories, because it's possible that Sean Spicer resigned today over stuff that happened recently, and he wouldn't have resigned otherwise, so those stories might have been based on false information or misleading information. So we don't know right now why exactly the reasons. We can speculate why Sean Spicer resigned. I'm going to check here. I want to see if there are more updates, coming out online about this. But also feel free, again, thank you for your comments. Would love to hear what you think about this story of Sean Spicer resigning. Give me a shout at Lookner, at Lookner, on Twitter, that is. Okay, I'm just peeking over here. Now, just to give you a sense of the different reporting that's going on, some people I've heard were suggesting, well, this was about Scaramucci being brought in. But this tweet, and again, take everything with a grain of salt, but this person, Ashley Parker, from the Washington Post, I believe, is saying... She is Washington Post. So she's saying that it was that bringing Scaramucci in was the final straw in a long line of indignities for Sean Spicer. So who knows? And who knows if any of this is true? But there's different theories out there about why he might have resigned today. I'm just doing some more quick checking here. Here's a tweet from Skeeth Kornacki, which says, at 182 days, Spicer's stint is the shortest for a White House press secretary since Jake Seward, who did it for the last 4 months of Clinton's second term. We haven't heard a statement yet about this firing from the White House. Maggie Haberman is saying The statement is likeliest to come from Priebus. At least one other departure of someone of Trump world of someone from Trump world of longstanding may take place. So we'll see. I assume we're going to hear some kind of statement soon from the White House, either spoken or written. So I'll let you know. Oops, sorry, that's my. I'm just. Oops, let me mute this. So sorry, everyone. The reason I have the TV on is just I want to keep an eye out. I'm seeing people on TV crowding around, crowding around a doorway. I don't know if that means that they think there's going to be a specific statement, or if they just are trying to get inside, waiting to get inside to get more information somewhere. So I'll let you know what we hear about that. I haven't heard anything yet about an official statement or anything. We just got a donation, by the way. Breaking Now gave $50. Thank you so much, and said, "F all you freeloaders. God only knows how this company stays in business, and you act like you can't afford $1. How was that coffee or soda you had this morning? You act like you hate fake news but won't support a solution. God bless Donald Trump." Now, Breaking Now, we all really appreciate your donation, and we thank you so much. And yes, we are viewer supported. I just want to make sure people know that we're not mad if you don't have enough money to donate. We understand people work hard. Not everybody has a lot of extra money, so certainly we would not encourage anyone to donate money they didn't have or that was not extra. So we're not mad at you if you can't donate, but if you can, just know that even if it's a small donation, know that we really do. We only can stay on the air because of your donations. So your support really is what allows us to do coverage like this and offer you an alternative to the mainstream media. So if you'd like to donate, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or do what Breaking Now did and click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat room next to the broadcast. Thank you very much, Breaking Now, for your generous donation. Okay, I want to get to some more of your messages here. Jason writes in, on Spicer, my own opinion is that he didn't get the communications director job, and that's what he wanted. He also wasn't 100% on board with the Trump administration. He was more anti-Trump during the campaign season. He didn't seem like he was enjoying the press secretary job as much as when he started, not smiling, more bags under his eyes, etc. Thank you, Jason, for writing in and giving your opinion on this. America First writes in, do you think Spicer actually wanted to resign, or President Trump asked for his resignation? So this is a great question, America First. The reporting is suggesting that he wanted to resign, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I wasn't there, so we'll have to see what comes out in the next couple days. Maybe we'll get a statement from the White House. We'll hear something from some insiders. I don't know, but I wouldn't at this point claim to have a totally firm grasp on what exactly happened. And I think we have to keep an open mind about all of this, because we don't know right now. Sightless Seer says, Spicer has earned some rest. He seems like such a good man, and negative can be so toxic. Poor man probably has an ulcer from dealing with the cesspool of negative energy. They take their vitriol out on him, and he didn't deserve it. I hope he is offered a better career path more suited to his kinder nature. That is from Sightless Seer. Pete Hudsbury says, Steve, when they threaten your family, your life, it becomes a little more difficult to keep a job. Hashtag MAGA, hashtag drain the swamp. NY Mike 2S says, that's a good point, Steve. Spicer has been laying a little low. Could be he's been waiting for the right time. Yeah, I don't know. Look, not that I have no information about this, but somebody like Sean Spicer also could probably make a ton more money going somewhere else and working in the private sector. I wondered when Jason Chaffetz resigned, he then took a job at Fox, but I was wondering when Jason Chaffetz resigned, is this someone who, certain people either need more money or want to make more money. That's their choice. I don't begrudge them that. And you don't know what's going on in people's lives. And there's various reasons why someone could resign. And don't discount personal reasons. A family or a situation where you want more money for your kids or to do X or Y, or you need the money. or you're just sick of, or you've thought, or you got like a really good offer. Who knows? Somebody might call Sean Spicer up a couple weeks ago, or maybe he has a friend who works at some consulting firm or some lobbying firm or whatever firm, and says, "Hey, man," or a TV network, and says, "Hey, we'll give you this." And he's been sort of thinking about it. And he's like, "Wow, I'll get paid that." I have no information that this happened. My point is that I think with a resignation is such a personal choice. If it's indeed a resignation and it wasn't like, well, they told him to resign. But that's such a personal choice when you leave a job. There can be many factors that go into that. And I think we need to be careful about assigning any one factor as like the reason he resigned. We just got a donation from Barbara Bailey, very nice, $30 donation from Barbara Bailey. Thank you so much, Barbara. And she says for the rally trip, be safe, RSB, and we will use that for the rally trip. That's very kind of you, Barbara. And we will be safe. We will. It's always foremost in our minds to be safe at traveling to and from the rallies. So thank you, Barbara, for that. If you would like to donate and support our trip to cover the rally next week, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can do what Barbara Braley did and click on the $ at the YouTube chat room at the bottom of the chat room. It's right next to the broadcast. Thank you to the moderators for moderating the chat, by the way. Appreciate it. And if you like our coverage of breaking news stories, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. And that way you'll get notified whenever we go on the air like this. Also, like and follow us on Facebook. We love when you do that. And that'll also let you know whenever we do a video on Facebook. You can find out that way. And follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. Feel free to follow me on Twitter as well. I am at Lookner, at Lookner. I post a lot of breaking news related material. And what was I going to say? And speaking of Twitter, I would love to hear, we're taking your comments. In addition to reporting the news here and getting the latest updates, we're taking your comments, something I don't think any of the mainstream media is doing. We really like doing that here, hearing what you have to say about these events when we come on and cover them. So if you have thoughts on Sean Spicer resigning, write to me. Do you think, is there a reason why you think he resigned? Is there someone you would like to see as the replacement? What are your thoughts on this? Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. You can also email me at the address below. John Nemella just emailed me and said, Steve, Fox News is reporting the reporters at the doorway are waiting to be able to go up to the press office to get the official White House press report of Sean's resignation. How helpful. That's very helpful, John Nemella. I love when you guys help us cover the news here. So again, John says, there's a bunch of reporters. They're in the press room, the press briefing room. They're all waiting in a doorway, and John says that Fox News is reporting they're waiting to be able to go up to the press office to get the official White House press report of Sean's resignation. When we see that press report, we will read it to you. I promise you. Thank you, John. Christine Bestjen says, anyone considering Spicer may have duties with the Navy that are calling him away and he can't speak to it. I guess that's possible, Christine. My thought, though, is that I'd be surprised if there were like unanticipated duties, that came up. That I would think that before he took the job, he sort of dealt with whatever that he planned out, whatever he knew, whatever duties he had, and that he would take 2 days off once in a while or whatever. But it would surprise me if there were such big unanticipated duties that they took him away from his job. I guess it's possible, but that's my thought on that, Christine. Thank you for writing in, though. Okay, let me catch up here. You sent me, America First sent me a video, Sean Spicer's origin story, but I'm not going to watch it right here because I don't know what it is. I'll watch it later. Hold on 1 second here. Oh yeah, and so so I'll show you. Yeah, Joe, send me that link. I'm going to try to get on the screen here a little shot of that, a shot of that briefing so you can see it. Not the briefing, a shot of the briefing room, and it's not a briefing. I can. So in a second, I'll have a shot of that briefing room, I believe. So I'll get that up there when I can. Let's go back. But thank you. I'll look at that video later. America First. Oh, hold on 1 second. So let me go back to me. Hold on a second. Let me go over here. Let me get this shot up here. Sorry, I'm just getting this shot on the air here so you can see what I'm talking about. Here, I'll show it to you real quick. So that is right now the briefing room. That's where they normally have the briefings. And you can see, as I was mentioning, all these reporters are at that doorway. But from what our viewer John wrote in, he said that Fox reported they're basically waiting to go up through that doorway to get the official White House like report or statement on this resignation. So as soon as we see that statement, or get a copy of it, we'll read it to you. But that's a shot of that room right now. Thank you, Joe, for letting me know about that and getting that to me. Okay, let me look at some more of your comments. Sam Miller just sent me a tweet from the Boston Herald, and the Boston Herald is reporting that Reince Priebus says he supports the Scaramucci hiring 100%. That is reporting by the Boston Herald. Let me see if I can just get you some more information about some news information here, and we'll keep that shot up on the screen. I'm just going over my different news sources here. Sarah Sanders will hold an on-camera briefing in an hour. Sarah Sanders will hold an on-camera briefing in an hour. So we will definitely bring that to you. Joe, if you're listening, what I could do is just get that up here, and I could just stream it here on this while I'm on the air here. That's not hard for me to do, so I might just end up doing that. Joe, if there's a different way you'd like me to do it, let me know. So Sarah Sanders will have a briefing in an hour, and Joe also, if you could tweet, Joe, I can't do that because I'm on the air, but if you could tweet out that she'll have this briefing at 2 p.m. Eastern and that we're going to carry it, that would be awesome. Joe is not only the CEO of Right Side, but he also is a crack producer and helps produce when I'm on the air. He does everything. So that's why I'm talking to Joe about that. It's also interesting because Sarah Sanders, they haven't had an on-camera briefing in several weeks, but they're going to have one today. So it's is it because of this big news that happened with Sean Spicer resigning? Anyway, so just to repeat, there will be a Sarah Sanders press briefing at 2 p.m. I presume there will be a lot of questions about Sean Spicer resigning. Okay, Joe, thank you, Joe. Joe, how about we do this? How about this, Joe? Let's see. I can do either thing, Joe. So you're saying, Joe, why don't you create a separate stream for the... We're going to create a separate stream for the White House press briefing, and I'll either stay on here and keep doing it from here, and we'll have two streams, or we'll switch over to the other stream. So, Joe, either I guess, Joe, just plan on making a separate stream for that, and then we'll figure it out. And I'll keep this footage up on the air. Again, I'm showing you, this is in that's in the briefing room where the briefing will be, but it's also just some shots of reporters waiting around. So we'll keep that on the air for now. Would like to hear more of your thoughts on this resignation. And also, what do you think about this news that there's going to be an on-camera press briefing at 2 p.m.? Let me know. Give me a shout at Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. A lot going on here. Miss Tree sent me a report that said that Spicer resigned over Trump's pick for communications director. Now, I've heard some reporting about that, but it's also possible that there are other reasons he resigned. So I think, to me, we're taking everything with a grain of salt about why he resigned, because it's so early in the process. And top of the hour, Sean Spicer has resigned. hearing different reasons why. Perhaps this has something to do with Anthony Scaramucci being named as a communications director today. Sarah Sanders will be giving an on-air press briefing at 2 p.m. Eastern. We will be bringing that to you live. So stick to Right Side for coverage of these events. We're taking your comments and questions on the air. I'm at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. Would love to hear from you, what you think about all this. And it's been so busy here. I keep trying to make time to check the news that's coming out. But we've been doing a lot of different things and I love getting your comments. So I want to just keep checking the news and seeing if there are any more announcements here. Maggie Haberman is saying that Reince Priebus is not expected to go anywhere, not expected to leave. Let's see. And just so you know, we have an on-camera briefing today. The last one was June 29th by Sarah Sanders. So about 3 weeks ago. Just peeking over my different sources here to see if we have any updates on things. Should be a pretty fascinating briefing today. Look forward to bringing that to you. I kind of want to see here. Let me look at one other thing. I'm just looking at various things here to see what's going on. All right, so let me show you. I want to show you an example of the kind of reporting some of the press is doing here. Let me go back to me for a second. Hold on here. I'll get back in a second. So as an example of some media coverage of this, what you might be seeing in other media sources and different theories about the resignation, I want to show you this. So this is the New York Times story, Sean Spicer resigns as White House press secretary. And what they're reporting, they're saying that Spicer resigned, telling President Trump he vehemently disagreed with the appointment of New York financier Anthony Scaramucci as communications director. Now, I'm taking all this with a grain of salt. I'm just going over this to give you a sense of some of the reporting that's going on about this. Mr. Trump offered Mr. Scaramucci the job at 10 a.m. The president requested that Mr. Spicer stay on, but Mr. Spicer told Mr. Trump that he believed the appointment was a major mistake, according to a person with direct knowledge of the exchange. Mr. Scaramucci, who founded the global investment firm Skybridge Capital and is Fox News Channel contributor, is known for his spirited on-air defense of Mr. Trump, but he also enjoys good relationships with journalists from an array of outlets, including those the president has labeled fake news. Let's see if there's any other news they're reporting in this article. It says here they're saying his resignation is a blow to Reince Priebus, who brought Mr. Spicer into the West Wing despite skepticism from Mr. Trump, who initially questioned his loyalty. And, okay, now this is what they're reporting at the end here. If you look toward the end, it says, this is talking about Scaramucci. Let's go back a little bit just to get you background. It says, during the transition, Mr. Trump had planned to appoint Mr. Scaramucci, a 52-year-old Harvard Law graduate from Long Island, as director of the Office of Public Liaison, but the offer was pulled at the request of Mr. Priebus over concerns about Mr. Scaramucci's overseas investments. His appointment Friday came 2 months after the previous communications director, Mike Dubke, stepped down. Mr. Trump was frustrated with Mr. Priebus over the slow pace of finding a replacement, according to a half-dozen people familiar with the situation. Mr. Trump made the appointment over the objection of Mr. Priebus, who thought Mr. Scaramucci lacked the requisite organizational or political experience, but the president believed Mr. Scaramucci, a ferocious defender of Mr. Trump's on cable television, was best equipped to play the same role in-house, and he offered him a role with far-reaching powers independent of Mr. Priebus's. Mr. Spicer flatly rejected the president's offer of a position subordinate to Mr. Scaramucci, according to 2 administration officials familiar with the exchange. The appointment of Mr. Scaramucci, a favorite of Mr. Trump's earliest campaign supporters, was backed by the president's daughter Ivanka, his son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, the officials said. So that's the New York Times reporting on this. And, make of it what you will, but the New York Times is claiming that this resignation was largely over the Scaramucci appointment as Director of Communications. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We are covering the resignation of Sean Spicer. To repeat, there will be a live on-camera White House press briefing with Sarah Sanders, and this is going to happen in 53 minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern. We will be bringing that to you live, and we will come back after that and talk about it, as well as being with you all the way up until that briefing. And Joe, if you're listening, a quick idea I had is if we're going to do two streams, if we're going to do two streams, Joe, we could have the feed this feed could be on both streams. So you could use this feed as the pre-show for the briefing on the briefing stream, and we could stay live here on this stream, if that makes sense to you. Sorry, it's easier for me to just talk to Joe on the air rather than call him and you're watching me on a phone and everything. So sorry about that, guys. We're doing this all on the fly because when I came on the air, it had not been reported yet there was going to be a live White House press briefing. So we will figure it out. Okay, would love to hear from you about what you think about all of this. Write to me on Twitter. Let me know what you think at Lookner, at Lookner. Now, just so you know, I know some of you are watching on Facebook and there are people in the chat room and YouTube, but I don't really see your posts when you post them in the chat room. So if you have a thought on this, I'd love if you sent it to me on Twitter, because that way I could see what you're thinking and I could read it on the air. So reach out to me. Let me know what you're thinking. NY Mike 2S, he says, our viewer NY Mike 2S, Scaramucci and Priebus are like oil and water. Reince was holding up bringing in Scaramucci after sold his company. And you're saying that's according to Fox Business. Thank you, NY Mike 2S. Sorry, you were saying this report you're quoting from Fox Business says Reince was holding up bringing in Scaramucci even after he sold his company, so there wouldn't be conflict of interest, I presume. I'm not familiar with the whole story they're reporting on Fox Business, but thank you, Mike. Oh, okay. Hold on. So what I need to do now, Joe, real quickly, Joe, if I send my RTMP out to you, Joe, is that going to mess up my stream because I'm sending out so many different streams? That's my worry, Joe, when I do that. And so Joe, let me know about that. I could send it out at a lower resolution, Joe, like 1,000 or something, but I'm worried about screwing things up with the broadcast. And I'm going to change the lower third here. Hold on, folks. Well, on the fly, let me change this lower third so it better reflects what's going on here with our coverage. So you're going to see that lower third change. Spicer resigns. White House briefing coming up at 2. There we go. That explains everything. That's better. Okay, so we will have, and sorry folks, I'm just we're just planning out. Let's see. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. Here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to get that off the screen. Here's the plan, because we're covering the White House press briefing, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to switch you over to, we're going to go over to that stream. Now, is that stream up on the air? Let me see. I believe it is. I believe it's already up on the air. No. So, Joe, once we get the stream going and there's a place people can go, let me know, and then I'll tell people to go there. Because, so what we're going to do is I'm going to switch over to the pre-show for the White House press briefing. Although, Joe, let me say this though: there might be something to just having this stream still up in case people are looking for information about Spicer resigning. Let's see. Okay, so Joe, when the other stream, let's stay on a little while longer here. But when that other stream is up and running, let me know and I can switch. I tell people to go over to that other stream. Sorry, folks, we're just getting organized here because there's both this news happening and the Sean Spicer and the White House press briefing coming up, and we want to have a stream of that. So we want to let you know, hey, we're gonna stop this stream now and go over to that stream. So and let you know. Sorry, folks, we're just trying to get the best arrangement for you here. Okay. In the meantime, let me do a check of the news here. And just see if there are any more updates here. I'm not seeing a lot of new reporting in the last few minutes. No, nothing new. Nothing new. Anyways, I'll keep checking the news sources. Would love to hear from you on this. If you have any thoughts on Sean Spicer resigning, let me know. Reach out to me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. Would love to hear from you. And I'm a little, I gotta say personally, I don't want to, well, hold on, let me read this. So this is from Zach Mullins, one of our viewers. Zach says, I think it was high time for Spicer to go. I think the press secretary needs to be someone who won't get rattled. He says, and you say hashtag Laura Ingraham. So that's from Zach Mullins. Thank you, Zach. Another thing here, let me say this. I don't like to get too conspiracy-y, but so a bunch of the reporting you're going to hear about this is, well, some inside source told me that this happened. But who's to say the inside source isn't putting out a story the White House wants to be put out? I don't know. It's like, it's so hard to tell with these things unless you were there why something really happened. So I personally am taking everything with a grain of salt. Now I wonder, here's a question I have. Will Anthony Scaramucci be at the press briefing? Because they hired him today. Will Sarah Sanders bring him out and introduce him and he can say something? Interesting. I don't know. We'll see. NY Mike 2S says, also, Sean has been communications director a long time at RNC, known for interacting, having a beer with reporters. Maybe he's just disgusted with mainstream media. That's from NY Mike 2S. Okay, so we are awaiting this White House press briefing coming up at 2 p.m., which is 45 minutes from now. We will be on the air either on this stream or a new stream until then. I'm trying to get more reporting about this, and it's interesting. There's no White House statement that's come out. I think the White House is probably going to save everything they want to stay on this until 2 p.m. because normally you'd be hearing maybe statements from different White House people or an official statement at this point. But we don't have any of that. I keep looking over and checking my news here just to make sure I'm not missing anything new. If you see any kind of interesting tweets about this or any news about this, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. Let me know. Okay, take my lower third off. Okay, so yeah, so Joe, the new stream, I'll get rid of the lower third. Joe, just so I know, Joe, are you gonna screen capture this stream, Joe, or because I would just load a new presentation or something and not take the lower third off on each of the scenes. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. All right. Sorry, folks, for a little confusion. We got a little. Some changes had to happen just because this briefing is coming up at 2. Okay. So I believe what's happening now is we're going to start a new stream, which is the press briefing stream. Joe, is that correct? And Joe, can we get that up live so people can go to it, and then you can get me on the air? Sorry, folks. I'm just figuring out where we're going so I can send you there, so you know where to go. Okay. So, but Joe, my question is there somewhere I can tell people to go when we end the stream? Okay, our other stream is already live. So if people go to Right Side Broadcasting on YouTube, there is now a live stream. Okay, here's what to do. We're going to end this stream right now and immediately start another stream. So I'm going to appear again. But that stream is called Live White House Holds Press Briefing, Sean Spicer Resigns. So what you should all do right now is stop watching this stream and go to Right Side Broadcasting's Live White House Holds Press Briefing stream. That's where I'm going to be in a minute. In a minute, I'm going to end this stream and I'm going to go over there. So stop watching this. Go over there and hold on. Joe Seals is calling me. Hold on, folks, before I end this stream and send you away. Okay, folks, so I'm getting off the air now, and I'm coming right back on the air on the other stream. So thanks for joining us on this stream. Go to our other stream. It's on YouTube, and I think we're going to put another stream up on Facebook too. So I'm not going to end the Facebook stream yet, but well, it's going to end on its own. But we'll put another stream up on Facebook for you as well. So for now, I'll see you in about 2 minutes. But find the other stream on YouTube for the press briefing, and I will see you there in a second.